Wilfred H. Noble. Who's that? Butch. When I met him, it was Butch. Never knew his last name, never knew his first name. When we filled out his driver's report, he worked at a leasing company that I worked at. So when he came in and asked me about Wilfred Noble, I said, I don't have a driver by that name. And we found out it was Butch. Wilfred Butch H. Noble, born November 5th, 1947 in Houston, Texas. Born and bred Texan. He left us March 15th, San Antonio, Texas. 65 years, 4 months, 10 days. Resident of Wilson County for the past 16 years. Took his last truck ride that day, following a short illness. He was the son of William and Eva Romer Noble. He attended Houston schools and was a truck driver for many years. Butch's wife, Gloria. Butch had 2 daughters. Chrissy's husband, Roy. Christy Lines. 4 grandchildren, Heather, Shannon, Charlotte, and Kevin. He has got a daughter, Jennifer. She was unable to join us today. 2 sisters, Pat, and a sister, Carol Gonzalez, and her husband, Larry. So I met Butch a long time ago. Tried to remain friends. He was down here. I'm the Yankee. You know, we always call him a damn Yankee. He needed help, I was there if I could. Sometimes it was by telephone, sometimes it was there to hold his hand, sometimes he was there to hold my hand. Fix it, Butch. Man, if it was broken, beyond repair, Butch would try to fix it. If somebody broke down on the road, he'd rattle your cage, make fun of you, but he'd be there for you to help you fix it. A story Butch told me one time, I don't remember what state he was in. For some reason, I think it was Texas. But he got pulled over by a DOT officer. He was innocent, whatever it was he did. He didn't do it. You know, the officer had nothing better to do but stop Butch. Officer come up next to the truck and asked Butch to get down out of the truck for whatever reason. As Butch got out of the truck, his foot hooked the fire extinguisher, and guess whose face was in front of the fire extinguisher? Needless to say, the officer was not happy. Butch did talk his way out of it. He explained that in the state of Illinois, the fire extinguishers had to be next to the driver's seat where the truck was registered. How he got out of that, I don't know. If I'd have been that officer, I think I'd have been a little bit upset to have a nice blue uniform all covered with white powder that does never seem to wash out or get out. I mean, I know many different little stories about Butch and some of the things that happened to him through the years. There's several truck drivers, several friends here, and I know they've got story after story they can tell about Butch, both good and bad. Butch was no angel, but on the other hand, he was no devil. He was no worse than anybody else in life. He wanted to make the best of life. He wanted to be himself. He wanted to be free. He loved almost everybody. I'm sure there's a few people on this earth that everybody doesn't care for. But life goes on. Don't take life for granted. Now, Butch walked his pathway in life. His pathway crossed with Gloria. They walked together for over 20 years. Gloria's going to deeply miss Butch, as I will, and a lot of other people. Hard to believe. He's younger than me. Might be younger than a lot of us in here. I'm sorry to see him go. I'm sorry I didn't spend more time with him. It's the way life goes. Cherish your life. Don't get angry over the little things. You know, it's not worth it. They go away. Love someone. Cherish your children. Help your friends. There's a lot of arguments I've settled physically. What did I gain out of it? Self-satisfaction. Was it worth it? Probably not. You know, a friend, what is a friend? My opinion, I have two opinions of what a friend is. A friend walks in when everybody else walks out. If you need help, somebody comes there to ask you, and they don't want anything other than a thank you. I have another kind of an act of friendship, but I think, and this might be getting a little bit heavy. I'm a veteran. My brother's a veteran. I'm sure there's other veterans in here. God bless you for your service. Not all of us wanted to serve. I did. I served. But I always say, watch my back. You don't have to fight, but watch my back. Butch would watch my back, and he would fight. That's a friend. I'll be there for you. Do I want to be up here today seeing my friend lie here? No, I don't. I don't. I want Butch to be standing with me. He didn't drink too often. I think in all the years I've known Butch, we might have shared 2 or 3 beers. I wish I could share one with him now. I'm sure other people feel the same way. The other thing I say about friendship, you don't have to explain to a friend. Friends don't need it. Enemies don't believe it. You make an excuse, you think it's going to make somebody feel better. It's not. They've already got it set in their mind. You're a friend, you accept your friend for what he says and what he does. As Butch did. I'm sure there's a lot of people over the years that have called Butch and asked for help. He could be down on his last dime and he'd give it to you. Butch is a hell of a guy. I'm sure there's people that don't think so. I personally do. I could probably go on. I could tell story after story after story with Butch. I didn't get to see him a lot. The last time I physically saw him was April of last year. My wife and I were down here. We spent about a day and a half with Gloria and Butch. Day or day and a half, I don't remember what it was. It all went by too fast. As life goes by too fast. I've got children. I've got great grandchildren. And I just found out on my trip down here, I'm going to be a great-grandfather. I didn't think I was that old. Lordy, lordy, time goes by. And it just goes by all too fast. There's people in here that don't know each other. I know very few of you. I've met a few today. Meet somebody new. It might be the person driving down the street say, I met him, I met her. They need help. Let's help. Everybody's leery today. If the simple thing is you pull up and you roll down your window just a little bit and say, I'll call help, everybody's got a cell phone. Maybe they don't. You know, it's a trusting and untrusting world. Butch trusted just about everybody. I could go on and talk and keep on talking. All I can say is cherish everybody. Not everybody's going to accept it. Cherish everybody. And we have another song we wish to play. Gloria's request on several of these. So if we could, please. Want to try?
Yep. I found a poem that I thought was kind of fitting for today. And, you know, if Butch was here, he'd tell me, be sure you wear your girl panties. You get through this, don't cry. Lord, life is fetish, short, a mere breath, a withering flower, a shadow of blue bonnets. It sobers me. That is but a passing occupant, a temporary guest who says hello, and so suddenly says goodbye. But Lord, you have chosen him to be your very own. The instant you call his name, he shall be a permanent resident. He is in his Father's home. He once again will go with enthusiastic joy. Say hello, don't say goodbye, but never through eternity. I will be there for you all.
Still hasn't sunk in. It may not sink in for a while. You never know when it's your turn. And it's, can you prep for it? Do you want to prep for it? I don't know. If there's anybody that wishes to come up and have anything to say or a question, let me know. Come up now. Butch's granddaughters.
Butch was a great man. Once he died, I didn't know what to do with myself then. And now my heart will be broken. Hello, my name is Shannon Mark. We are going to talk about my grandpa. My grandpa was a nice, generous person. He gave us a rattlesnake sparrow to us. We loved him so much. He was a very handsome man. He was so strong. My grandpa's name is Butch. Butch was the best. Once we went to a pond. Once we went to the beach. It was so fun. No one really said that Grandpa died.
Good job, girl. Good job.
That was beautiful, girls.
I knew Butch through Gloria, because Gloria and I have been friends for years. And he would call Frankie and I his other wives. And when I would go visit him, he'd always say, "Oh no, there comes that Montoya woman, the troublemaker." But he could be very good, but he can also be a pain in the butt. We all accepted him that way. And years ago, I found this article that I thought I would want somebody to read at my funeral, so I thought he would like this also. So if we'll read it to you now. To those I love and those who love me, when I am gone, release me, let me go. I have so many things to see and do. You mustn't tie yourself to me with tears. Be happy that we had so many years. I gave you my love. You can only guess how much you gave me in happiness. I thank you for the love each have shown, but now it is time I travel alone. Go grieve a while, if grieve you must, then let your grief be comforted by trust. It's only for a while that we must part, so bless the memories within your heart. I won't be far away, for life goes on, So if you need me, call and I will come. To you, though you can't see me or touch me, I'll be near. And if you listen with your heart, you'll hear all my love around you soft and clear. Only then, when you must come this way alone, I'll greet you with a smile and say, welcome home.
And I'm Frankie, the third wife, or the second wife, or whichever wife you want to call me. And all I can say is, God bless him. He was a wonderful person, and I loved him dearly. And he will be missed dearly.
Anybody else? Butch's daughter, Christy.
Hi. It's very hard for me to accept that I'm actually doing this. He loved, God, did he tell me this story over and over. I used to go on the road with him all the time when I was a little girl. I learned to jump rope in parking lots while he was unloading his trailer and hula hoop. And there was a time, I guess, when I was probably 5 or 6 years old, and a load fell on his chest. And he broke a couple ribs, and he cracked his sternum. And yet, he had his little girl running to him, screaming, "Daddy, Daddy," and he picked me up. I don't know how. I don't really remember this, but that man told me this story so many times. I didn't get as much time with my dad as I wanted. But last year I got to bring the kids down and we spent a week. We didn't do a whole lot, hung out really and talked, and it was amazing. And I'm going to miss him more than I think I can ever explain. But I'm grateful that I got the time that I did. And I've heard a lot that I look like him, and our thought process, we think alike. I even eat on my plate one thing at a time, exactly like he did. I eat my meat, my vegetables, my potato. I don't mix. I take my socks off with my toes, crying out loud like he did. So nature versus nurture, I guess, in that regard. But there is nobody that I would rather be like than my dad. Somebody strong and hardworking, and hell, I even like to tinker on my car. So I'm gonna miss him, but yet I'm grateful that I still have Gloria to be there and to give me all the stories that I don't have about my dad. So thank you all very much for coming.
Butch wouldn't want this to be on a sad note. If I overstep my bounds here on a joke, I'll apologize first. It's not a dirty joke, okay? We'll save those for later. I got 1,000 of them. Butch liked this joke. The first time I told it to him, I've told it to him several times. Old boy's walking down the road, hitchhiking. Butch stops to pick him up. Gets in a cab, they're going down the road, they start, the truck driver, jaw-jacking. They start talking. Comes up to a traffic light, it turns red. Butch goes right through the intersection. Guy looks at him and says, "Man, that was a red light." He says, "I know." He says, "Me and my buddy do it all the time." So they're going down the road a little bit further. Remember it, Butch. No laughing. Get going down the road a little bit further. He's watching, light changes to red. Right through the intersection. He says, "Man, that was a red light. You're going to get in an accident." He says, "Me and my buddy do it all the time." So they're cruising down the road a little bit more, and he sees another traffic light coming up, and he's getting nervous. Man, he's getting nervous. All of a sudden, the light changes to green. He relaxes. Butch hits the brakes, slams him in the windshield. He's down on the floor. He says, "What's the matter with you, crazy old son of a gun?" He says, "That was a green light." He says, "Yeah, My buddy might have been coming from the other way. Butch would want to end in a laugh. If I ever stepped my bounds for some of you people, I apologize. I've known Butch for a damn long time. We have another song, and then I have a couple of words after the next song and the closing. Anybody else to speak?
Only thing I got to say, Butch, I've heard it. You got to come back and let me know. Is there a port of entry 5 miles the other side of the Golden Gates?
Just a couple little things, and you don't have to listen to this damn Yankee anymore. I know I speak with an accent, I guess. That's what my granddaughter told me when she lived down here for many, many years. Or actually, my niece, I apologize, my niece. She said, we don't talk funny, y'all just listen funny. She came down here, she's I think about 3 years old, and learned the language. We have a registry in the back. We would appreciate it if everybody would sign the registry. And if you wish to do a final viewing, please do so. And we invite you all to a fellowship at Gloria's home at 10-500. There's a traffic light. The only closest landmark. If there's anybody that would like final words, please say so. Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry for interfering, but I have it in my heart, and I gotta say something. They were our neighbors for a couple of years, and I had 2 grandchildren raising them, and Butch would love them to death. They would call them my babies. And when he would travel, he came back from out of state and brought them a little gift, and they were always giving them gifts and Christmas and Easter and all that. And my grandchildren would play out there, and then they would say, the truck's there, the truck's there, Bush is back. And they were little, they would go there and sit with him on the porch, and sometimes when times were hard, Gloria and I would get together outside in the yard, and we would pray for him or whatever was going on. And my kids appreciated their time very, very much. Now they're grown, they're 18, and one of them is working, the other one is halfway to San Antonio. They tried to make it here, but they couldn't. Life is so fast right now. But they will keep him in their hearts. And when we will pray for them, and when we tell the kids to pray for them, but this time, we didn't get to pray for him because Jesus was waiting for him with his open arms. And he's the Almighty. We couldn't have done anything. We couldn't have gotten against Jesus Christ, right? But he's in the best place, in the best hands where there is peace, no pain, no crying. All the pain and all the suffering is gone away. So he's up there with Jesus, hugging Jesus and saying, I'm at peace. I'm at a holy place. Don't cry for me. But one day we'll be up there, saying, with peace and all. And I just want to say that he will not be forgotten. And they did a very good deed to my grandchildren. My grandchildren loved them a lot. I don't have the words to say, right, how much we loved them and how much we missed them when they moved away. But they are in our hearts. So God bless you all.
Thank you, and thank you again. And if that's it, anybody wishes to do a final viewing, would you please come forward now? And we hope to see you all at Gloria's house, Gloria and Butch's house.